Well, guys, I promise you this show, as all the shows, will be all over the place, man. Today, I brought three very special guests. Today, we are celebrating fathers, all right? Now, hey, all these guys are from diverse backgrounds. So, hey, everybody listen to my new LinkedIn family, the people that are jumping in from LinkedIn, checking out the show. All right, don't check out yet, man. You're going to learn through us. We are celebrating the fathers. You know, fathers are so under-recognized, I believe. And shouts out to the mothers. We had our day last month, but you know what? This one is all about dad. Today, we're going to talk about what it means to be a father, what it takes, whether you're a father that is in your household, whether you're a father that's fighting to get into your household. This message is also for the ones that are thinking about it that haven't quite been there for your family yet, man. We want to give you hope. My guests want to give you inspiration to get back in the game because it's so important to be a dad. Special shout outs coming up next. Mentorship moments. Each one teach one. We are the village. Let's go.
Sometimes you just gotta make it happen. Gonna make it happen. Gonna make it happen. Just make it happen. Just make it happen. Just make it happen.
What's going on, guys? You know what? Since I got a whole bunch of talkers on this show, I'm gonna try to limit some of my commercials, right? Because I've had some previous guests on the show before, and I got a brand new. I got an MMA champ, right? I'm bringing on the show today. It's gonna be out of control. But before we get started, let me go into my run sheet so we can talk about. I got to give special shout outs. Now, listen, since this is a Father's Day show, I do not want to leave this show alone without recognizing the ultimate dad to me. You know, Poetess, can you put my dad on the screen? My father, Milton Joseph, man. This guy, and you'll see it in a minute. Yeah, oh, God, man. God. Dad, and I know you're in heaven resting. I cannot thank you enough for what you did for my brother, my two brothers, and my sister. Man, you and Mom did such a great job, and I want to honor you because you taught me how to not fear anything, even when I didn't believe in myself, man. I like to show this picture because he was a man of vision. He was a man of dreams. And I want to make sure that when we remember our dad, that they always stay alive through our honorarium. Dad, I love you so much. And this show right here is dedicated to you and all the fathers. Oh, awesome, man. Thanks, Poetess. Man, I get a little emotional over here looking at that, man. You know, I see the resemblance between my mom and my dad. Mom on this side, dad on this side, right? You kind of look at the heart. She's like, yeah, you know. All right. So, and I also want to give special shouts out to other dads that mean a lot to me in my life, whether I'm watching them interact with their children or being the mentor father that I had. I call it the surrogate father. So let me throw these names out here. Julian Williams, man, watching you raise your daughter is a beautiful thing. Couldn't make it on the show today, but I want to mention you. My brother, Dion Joseph, man. This story is amazing, man. This guy took his kids to court with him when his wife was ill, man. This guy was amazing. Brother Mike Wise, rest in peace, man. You were my spiritual father one time. Troy Joseph, my brother, what an incredible dad, man. He was gangster, but he was an incredible dad. G.I. Joe Charles, brother, thank you. I love you so much. Brother Bernice White turned my life around, helped me discover functional fitness, brought his son nearly from the dead, and his son is now an incredible father, Bernice Jr. Mr. Brian Butler, don't think I forgot about you. Greg Allen, an incredible mentor, incredible father. Charles Evans, you guys are incredible. Now, there's other fathers of mention, and if I come up with the name, I'll throw them out there. Guys, if you want to call in for today's show, if you're a dad and you just want to just shout out some love, Poetess, can you put that number on the screen so I can holler it out? You got a little dim on me? All right, you got the light? All right. All right, we're going to put that number on the screen. Listen, if you're a dad, you want to give a shout out to your dad, feel free to call. We got a lot to talk about today, so I might not be able to get to everybody. I'm watching on Facebook, too, because I don't have my lovely assistant, my beautiful wife, Eva, with me today. Sadia Sanders is checking YouTube. So if you guys have any questions, you know, whatever, man, let's just honor each other today. I mean, this is a different kind of show. Y'all know this, right? This is a variety show. All right. So let's get to our sponsors. The first sponsor is Yelida Carter. All right. She is from Mutual Realty Consultants. Man, she is like an incredible, incredible lady right here. We're going to put her photo up on the screen. I mean, look, she will diligently market and network to try to find out multiple competing offers for your property. Now, listen, I've got her linked up with another person, and that's what we do here. We like our sponsors, we connect them. So Yulita, thank you for your continued sponsorship. If you have a business and you want me to sponsor it, boom, let it go. Let's go. I can sponsor your show. You want to reach Yulita Carter, 213-804-3369. I couldn't come up with a jingle just yet, but I remember back in the 90s when we had the late night calls. Here's one. Pick up the phone and call 213-804-3369. If you know what I'm talking about, shame on you. You have a dirty mind. If you don't, God bless you. Stay in church. All right, moving on. The Black Health Trust. I still support. Listen, I'm doing this support on my own because I love what they do. Okay. If you want, every Sunday, they have a new session on health in underserved communities and also in the Black communities. A lot of people don't get this, the information that you get from the regular doctor here. And we've had one of the guests on the show, Dr. Cutter, and she killed it. In fact, she got a couple of references from the show. And that's what I like about the show. There hasn't been a show yet where we have not inspired and have received phone calls yet. Thank my guest last week, brother, 2 weeks ago, my brother Dion Joseph turned it out, with some of the best views yet. And this will be no different because we're talking about a subject that is very important. Now, Porge, you got to remind me, I got some good news before we get started. So before I close, I want to talk about a good story before we get into a great Father's Day message. I think it kind of applies. If you like my show, right, and you want to, one thing you can do, right, if you're YouTubing and you're watching live, hit the subscribe button, like, and share, okay, and tell your friends right now that CJ's on. I mean, the man is on. This is the best show right now. We got variety. This is the real community show right here. If you want to, if you're on Facebook right now, share right now. Tell our friends that CJ is on. Tell them that he's a husband, a daddy, Father's Day, right, a protector, and a hero, right? Today, right? Because I got 2 kids myself. I love you, my daughters. If you want to sponsor the show, 2 ways, using technology that I know you can do it. If you like the sermon and the sermon is good to you, and as we're passing the collection plate to keep the church open, the doors of the church open, you can hit me up on Cash App, $CJ Functional. Keep it real. If the show is blessing you, hey, bless a brother, man. We keep this thing going, right? Also Venmo at CJ Functional. All right, current events real quick. I had some good news, but I forgot. Oh, no, I haven't forgot. Thank you, Poetess. That wink just reminded me. Current events. Did an interview on Spectrum within the department that I work. Just look up Cleon Joseph on spectrum1.com. Check it out. We talked about law enforcement and community. It was an honor to be selected as that. I know my brother Dion is national, but I'm on the undercurrent. I'm in there. Dion's working on the outside, while I'm working on the inside. That's how it works. One day we'll merge together and be like Wonder Twins powers, activate, and then we will take over the nation and spill out truth and have real conversations instead of fighting and dividing each other. How about that? All right, here's a story before we get into our subject. I was driving almost late. Poetess and the cats, I was almost late today because there was a bottleneck on Crenshaw. And there was this elderly sister, African-American lady. I'm just painting the picture, why I say screw racism. And the lady was stalled. And what I saw was disgusting. I saw cars whizzing by, and I was trying to promote my show on the way up here. And I saw a van parked behind the lady. 2 women got out and tried to help push her car up the hill just before you get Manchester. That's an uphill battle. I said, hell no. So I turned my car around into the Swiss parking lot, and I take off running, and I saw 3 other men running behind me. Me being black, I saw a Middle Eastern man, a Hispanic man, and an Asian man. We told those ladies to get out of the way and let the kings do the work, right? And these guys were probably fathers. We pushed that lady's car up the hill. Man, I was almost running late. I was sweating like a dog. I was shining when I got here. And what I'm trying to say is, man, these were good men. We didn't say a word to each other, but we all gave fist bumps, and that lady was in tears. Screw your racism. Man, when we're in help, forget your skin. Forget the skin you're in. God made us all the same. I want you to recall that. So when you're watching this show, learn through us. Don't let the skin fool you. We are all the same. We are fine and sexy in all shades of chocolate and goodness. All right, we're going to get into our guest. Father's Day show coming up. But first, a message from the big sponsor, CJ of CJ's Functional Fitness, where you don't have to be a fighter to feel like one. Not a lot of commercials after that. Let's train.
life, we all have opponents to prepare for. But you don't have to be a fighting champion to defeat your current condition. You don't need to be the ultimate anything to tap out the stressors in life. But what if I told you that mastering your physical well-being, like a fighter, directly relates to mastering the obstacles in your daily life? The only challenger that awaits you is yourself. Do you accept your challenge? I'm CJ, and this is CJ's Functional Fitness, where you don't have to be a fighter to feel like one. So let's train.
All right, that website is www.cjffla.com. That's in CJFFLA as in funky, LA.com. Love you, my daughters. Love you, my wife. Remind me, poetess, to tell everybody what I would like for Father's Day. All right. And it involves, and I don't want socks. I don't want draws. Okay. The draws, but not draw. Okay. Enough's enough. All right. Okay. I don't want to get X-rated. Stop. All right. So here it is. I got poetess laugh. I love it when she laughs. When I see a person that doesn't laugh and I see them laughing, I know my show is halfway all right. All right. So here it goes, guys. Without further ado, I have three very special guests. Now, these are men that I have watched, got to know, and then we all got distance. I watched over social media, or some that I know and I call my friends or friends in continuum, no matter where we fall on the spectrum. When I see these men, I always bow to respect, because I respect the way their stories, I respect their journey, I respect the way they raise their kids, for each for their own different reason. The first person I'll mention is my friend, Anatole Batiste. And first of all, I want to say happy Memorial Days to all the veterans. I know the difference now between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. We had a great weekend. Anatole, military veteran, retired. Now he's just an all-around jack of all trades, just chilling, enjoying life, imparting wisdom. I've watched him raise his kids. Great, incredible kids. I'm gonna let him talk about that. This brother right here is amazing. And when he gets to talking, we'll scroll some photos. But I even got a cute little military photo when he was a pup. You know, you got to see this, man. This guy just like Denzel Washington. You know, my next guest has been on the show before, and man, I told you this show is different, right? He's at work right now, and man, he took the time out. He could be called at any minute. So, you know, he talks a lot, but if the fire bells ring, you guys get to see that in action live on the CJ show, Mentorship Moment. LaTeef Williams, MMA fighter, but now he's transitioning to, he's done law enforcement. Now he is a firefighter. I love this brother, man. This is my bro. His story is amazing. We had a show a few months back. It was incredible about his journey as a father, but I brought him back for the show. Mr. LaTeef, the Python William, newly engaged Python William, and we'll be scrolling some photos in a second with that. Then my last guest, without further ado, is an MMA champion, also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. You know, I love that. We tried to get him on the force, but we'll talk about those transitions later in my battle to bring more people into the agency that I work of color. We'll talk about that on another show. But the most important thing, man, his journey as a father, being an actor, MMA champion, black belt, his evolution, his struggle, amazing. Mr. Fernando Marrero. It was Smith. We're going to get into that in a second. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's bring these beautiful men on the screen and let's have this conversation about the meaning of fatherhood, because you know what? We are the fathers. All right, gentlemen, come on up. Awesome.
Man, good evening, gentlemen.
Oh, man. Anatole, what's going on with you, sir?
Hey, bro. How you guys doing today?
Brother, it's good to see you again, man. You know, man, my only regret is that we don't hang out more often, but I got 3 lives, but we're going to get to it, man.
But that's all right. We'll make that happen one of these days. And, hopefully this COVID situation eases up enough for us to actually be able to do stuff like that again.
Man, I think it's going to happen very soon. I think we're doing a responsible thing now, and we're definitely going to hang out. Mr. LaTeef Williams, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Just waiting for the clock to hit 7:30 a.m.
Man, look at this guy showing off behind the fire truck, all smiling and stuff. Man, get out of here. All happily engaged. You got a beautiful son. They look like I said the Wakanda family. He says Zamunda. You know, he looks beautiful, man. You guys are just beautiful people, man. Welcome to the show. And then my new guest and somebody I've known for a long time, which I'm very proud of, Fernando Marrero. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up, my brother CJ? How you doing, man? Gentleman Anatole, brother LaTeef was good. How's
Man,
everybody?
I love this man. He's outside chilling with the beard, you know, flossing. He's got the golden lion's mane. Man, showing. I'm just loving it, man. Listen, I want to thank you guys for being on the show, and I want to get right to it because there's a lot to talk about fatherhood. And as you heard in the beginning, what I want to do is, and I brought you guys on here because you guys have different walks and different perspectives of fatherhood, but I know you all to be great fathers. I've been watching you guys, and some of you guys have age gaps between your kids. Some of you guys kept it pretty consistent. One of you guys just have one, and your journey on social media with this child is just amazing, you know? So I want to inspire those who are in that struggle as fatherhood, because we're going to talk about that, or who is tired, exhausted, but needs that pat on the back to say, man, you are a father and that's a good thing. Or that one cat, let's talk about the pooplet, the guy that's like deadbeat. That's not even thinking that, no, you got a kid somewhere. We want to inspire you on the meaning of being a father. And I want to start chronologically from the beginning. And you know what? I'll start with Anatole for this question right here. We're going to round robin this. Let's talk about your firstborn day one during childbirth. I'm going to throw this to you, Anatole. I'll tell you my experience. I didn't think I was going to cry, and I had girls, so it would mess me up. But when I pulled my baby, little Cheyenne, out of her stomach, I remember Dion coming up to me, putting his arm on my shoulder, and I literally almost fell on my knee and was hugging his leg, crying. And I was like, what the hell is that all about? To me, it was a love, it was a touch of God that I've never experienced in my life. I'm going to stop there. Anatole, what was that like for you, your day one?
Man, that was one of the most awesome experiences of my life. I mean, I had gone, well, not like my wife didn't do anything there, but, you know, just one process, the very moment that I looked at my son when he was born, I think you may even have a photo of me holding him. That is the very first that, you know, I at my son. I was just overwhelmed, and I was just thanking God for the process. You know, I felt as though, you know, I had accomplished something, but I know I had a road to go in pleasing Him.
Wow. LaTeef, I mean, your experience with your son. Your son looks just like you, brother. Tell me what it was like when the egg hatched. What was that like?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I spoke him into existence. I had his name picked out a good 10 years before he was born, and I remember telling everybody, yeah, my firstborn is going to be a boy. And are you going to have all girls? And I'm like, nah, I'm going to have a boy, you know. And even when his mom, when we went to go for the ultrasound, I walked in, I said, it's a boy. You just need to confirm it with, you know, the doctor. Didn't go right ahead. It's a boy. So, you know, and sure enough, you know, and like I said, his name was picked out because when I said it, I said, I'm going to teach my son to say, I am Zion, first son of LaTeef. And he gets all bashful when he says it because he knows when I say, hey, what is your name? And, you know, and my father taught me to be proud of my name. So I instill the same thing. But I mean, yeah, it was like, I knew he was coming before he got here. I knew he was going to be a boy. I knew how he was going to be. And he's exactly like me, which is, I think, why I really don't have any problems. So, oh, hold on.
Now, Poetess, are you a fan of yourself, or do we actually have a call already? Oh, okay. All right. Too early. Okay. So, man, that's deep. That's deep. Okay. So our new guest, MMA Champ, the champ is here, right? You know, what was it like holding your firstborn? What was it like?
Oh man, it was definitely a deep-rooted spiritual, intrinsic, like transformative situation. You know, I mean, especially back then, I was pretty young. You know, I was 16 when I met their mother, and 17 when he was born. So, and then, ended up, we eloped and, basically, married at 17, separated at 18, divorced at 19, haven't been married since. But it was just a phenomenal feeling. It was like just everything that you had said earlier, perfectly elocuted. It's like this touch of God, this touch of like love from heaven. Like it was just so ethereal and visceral and spiritual. Even the toughest guy in the world who thinks he's all rough and tough or whatever, the biggest gangster on a level 4 yard in the hood or whatever, they firstborn is going to break them down and they're going to get a little misty eyed. I guarantee that.
Can I ask you guys a question? And I'll start with you, Fernando, now that I have you already up. Did it, holding the baby, for me, it was transformative because I thought I was a mature man before that, And like I said, I'm not a perfect man, even before or after. But something in holding that baby changed me to like, I got to make some changes. And I wasn't even a bad dude. Did you have that notion, that feeling when you held the baby for the first time?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it was even more cathartic because growing up, my father wasn't around. My father wasn't there, my mother and father married young, mom was 17, father was 19 when I was born. And probably the earliest known, memory that I have of my father is probably at like my third birthday party. And that's it. Other than that, next time I seen him or met him, I was 14, 15, went to go live with him, as a teenager, while I was, in the system, foster homes, group homes, institutions, stuff like that. And, that was that. But no, it was really cathartic because I always wanted to be better than that. I always wanted to give something to my kids, to my progeny, to the grandkids, whatever have you, something that I never had. And that's a father, a patriarch, that was something that I wanted to replicate in the form that I had bore witness to growing up, from my maternal grandfather, who was the man who pretty much raised me until he died, when I was a little boy.
Well, a lot of people think that people that are raised without dads become the stereotype. And my dad was the same way. His dad was not around, and shouts out to Fred Joseph. They had a relationship later in life, but my dad had no blueprint. But like you, kind of, he said, you know what, that won't be me and mine. Is that kind of how you felt?
Oh, exactly. Absolutely. I just wanted to establish that no, I'm into breaking, that generational, chain, generational curses, generational, forms of trauma and dysfunction, all that stuff stopped with me and it's not, going to continue, to be a perpetuating, factor moving forward into the future with my kids, my grandkids, and the line of descendants is going to come after them.
I love what you said about breaking the curse. LaTeef, you had a father like me. You had dad in your life, so I told you I'm bringing different experiences. So, Mr. Fireman, Mr. Python, what was it like for you? You had a blueprint, right or wrong? Am I on track? Can you hear me, LaTeef? Is he on?
I think he might have got a call here. I think he.
Okay, he might got called out. Like I told you, this was live, so he was on duty. So he may be back. We'll see. Right. But Anatole, I'm gonna throw this to you. Did you have a blueprint in your life? Because you are a very structured man. You tend to think, was it the military or was it your dad also?
No, it was definitely the military. And much like Fernando, my dad wasn't there when I was coming up. I mean, my mom packed up her 3 kids in Louisiana, got on the Greyhound, and we came to California when I was 5. And my father pretty much wasn't there for any of that after that. So, I mean, I don't want to say, I tell people that I knew what not to do as a dad, by understanding what happened, in my mom and my dad's relationship. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably one of the reasons why my marriage is successful. So, but as far as being a dad, I didn't have that firsthand experience from my dad. However, I did have, my uncles who poured into me and nurtured me and would guide me as I was coming up. And I pretty much came, had the same thought process. I'm not going to let that happen with my children. And, that's kind of the way that I approached it. But I definitely did not have a blueprint. I had some great mentors, and I found great mentors in other men. And I think that's one of the ways that we can help out with some of these younger guys who are, having difficulties with fatherhood. If they need more mentors like my Uncle Gene, as I had coming up.
What were and I'll put this to both of you guys, what were your mentors? And Fernando, we didn't talk about your mentors, but if you had mentors, if you had somebody to look to say, you know what, I want to be like that, what were they doing right to help guide you guys into being a good fathers? Fernando, I'm gonna let you have that one first.
It's crazy. I mean, just looking at, how they maneuvered, there's an old saying, and then, I credit this to my old acting coach, Troy Skinner. He says, word and deed goes hand in hand. And, like it's essential. It absolutely has to. I mean, your word and your deed has to match up. And if it don't, then there's a problem. But, I say that to say, to give an example, there was a gentleman who my mom dated back in 1990. So I was 8 years old, and they dated, didn't work out. My mom treated him horribly, whatever have you. But still, nonetheless, him and my mother were broken up for a long extended period of time, and I was still with my grandparents, and he still took a genuine interest in me to basically keep tabs on me and to keep track of me throughout the years, and would come by and, at my grandmother's permission, to take me and my cousin out, and took us to like arcades, or, took us to like museums or operas, and, to kind of show that, there's more to life, than just what we were, typically accustomed to, coming up in the hood or whatever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He bought us clothes, school supplies, whatever. And he didn't have to. He didn't sire, me, or my cousin or whomever else. And, he wasn't with my mother any longer. So there was no like duty or obligation or commitment. And I thought that was pretty dope. Like, to me, that resounded loudly. It resonated within me deeply. And it's a testament to his character and who he was as a man. You know what I mean? That's something, just something as, little as that had so much impact, and it the magnitude of that, it hit home, and it hit deep, you know what I mean? And, like, just little things, no matter, what you say, how you treat people, you can change the world, you can change people's perception and perspectives.
For me, the code was my father walked the planet like he owned it. It was almost embarrassing how much he felt like he owned the planet. He didn't care. He was in the deep South, okay? And then when he got over here, he dealt with racism. But he walked it like, I could care less about racism. I'm gonna get mine. I seen him talk crap to white people, and I was like, dude, we're gonna get lynched after this, and we're in California, I saw that. To me, he was my Jack Johnson. He was my Muhammad Ali. He just had no fear. Anatole, what codes did you pick up from your mentors as a father?
One of the most important things that I picked up from them was being present. Like I said, coming up, I was the oldest of 3 kids who turned out to, eventually became 4 kids. And, even though my dad wasn't there, if I needed something or I needed to talk to someone, my uncles made themselves available for me. I had other, play uncles that poured into me and advised me. And still to this day, I just talked to one of the other that just called in to check on me. And, he's been in my life probably about 40 years. It's not a real relative, but, he's always been somebody that I've looked up to, and, and I can talk to, just being present and make yourself available to pour into young men, is one of the things that I love most about these men, and what I try to do especially with my nephews. I do the same thing with my nieces and things like that, but I really try to be an encouragement and be a good mentor to my nephews, because, not all of us have the same experience. Some of them, have had difficulties with, their relationships with the mothers of their children and things of that nature. But, I still try to, encourage them to, do right by the kids, and don't get frustrated, and do everything that you can to make sure that you're present in the lives of their children.
Speaking of that, I don't know about you guys, but I think since I know you guys are all good dads, you guys had this fear. I had fears and concern as a dad. I had personal fears, even though I had a dad, I had a blueprint. That number one, I would not measure up. It was just too much God goodness to measure up to be a dad, right? I all thought about how am I going to protect these kids? What behavioral adjustments do I have to make to stay on this job or to keep from whipping somebody's ass? So I'm not in prison myself, to be in my daughter's lives, both of my daughter's lives. What fears and concerns do you guys have? Anatole, I'll start with you, then we'll go with Fernando.
You know what? I have a little different way I look at that. I have the pleasure of being a doggone infantry Marine, so I have a crazy side.
I believe it.
Let's just, a side that doesn't play around, and and I'm constantly trying to figure out ways to kind of stamp that down. But I do not play when it comes to my children. Period.
I know that. I know that for a fact.
But yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. Fernando, what about you? What did you have, being that you didn't have a solid blueprint throughout your life, did you have fears and concerns holding your children?
No, not really. I guess probably my only fear, fears in general, typical, like fear of success and fear of failure.
I love that.
I guess that was my biggest thing. When I was younger, I was afraid to fail, and what if I don't, I guess, add up? What if I don't, meet up to whatever expectations or whatever standards or whatever the standard was or whatever, by whomever's definition. I just wanted to be the best father that I could be, and then some, and just go above and beyond and provide, something that I never had. I didn't know what it was like, So, but I do know that it is essential. It's imperative for, young men, for boys, to have their fathers coming up or whatnot. Like that there was just this void and this pain that was just, it lingered, throughout that time as you're coming up or whatever. And for some people, they go, astray and go in different directions, and they continue to, perpetuate the cycle. It's a vicious cycle. And others, like I said, man, I was tired of it. And like, no, moving forward, that's not going to be me, my kids moving forward, and so on and so forth. I wanted to be like the superhero, super dad or whatever. I'm going to do whatever I needed to do to protect my kids, provide for them, and whatever it is that I had to do. Like, you know what? Hard work is not, unfamiliar territory for me. And neither is struggle as well.
Man, I love that. Now we're going to get kind of funny with it now. Let's talk about co-parenting. In my vision of me being a dad before I even got married, or just the thought of just married, I'm the dad. My word is final. I have put on my Barack Obama voice, and that's it. But you run into issues with, you feel like you're married to this person, you're one, but really you're working with a different individual. Now, thank God, my wife is an incredible mother, but we had differences. What is it like, however your situation is, how you co-parented with a person or without? Fernando, I'll start with you. Co-parenting, what is that like, and what balances and adjustments you have to make to show that you're still the provider, the hero, but at the same time impart the equal share of with your mates?
Yeah. And let me just go on record and first and foremost state that I think it's absolutely imperative that, all households have like a two-parent, household, both mom and dad in the household. It's just a shame that, you got so many situations, so many statistics out there, of kids that grow up with one or the other, or if not none, and are completely orphaned or whatever. But, in my case, I really didn't have that, again, I was, married at 17. My oldest son was born, separated at 18, divorced at 19. And I ended up getting full custody of both my sons back in 2005. Officially, they were taken from their mother, and unfortunately, she turned out to be one of those party girls or whatever, and she was very promiscuous and had other kids, a whole bunch of other different men or whatever. So all her kids were taken from her by DHS, Department of Human Services, which is like social services in city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and she got all the kids taken away from her. So I was notified, and it was on the local evening news over there as well. And then I got notified, ended up getting a lawyer, and I was flying back and forth all of 2004 for the whole year from Los Angeles to Philadelphia, going back and forth for custody battles, visits, and fighting for custody, for my oldest son. And then, my, youngest son, well, Jonathan, the 20-year-old, I didn't know he was mine at the time, because at the time that me and the ex wife, we were married, towards the end of our, relational situation, she, had philandered and, cheated or whatever, and popped up pregnant and was vehement that it was somebody else's. But, I guess years later and after paternity and all that stuff or whatever, it turned out to be mine. So, and that was another adjustment as well. So, and then for me at that time, I was in my 20s, and I just, I've been a single dad, raised both my sons. I was in relationships throughout the years. I was in one relationship that was on again, off again for about a majority of 10 years. And she was pretty much like stepmom, and they still have a relationship, with her, while my youngest does, Jonathan does. And then my oldest, Fernando, he's just, he's 22 years old, and, out in the world and finding himself and living life and, doing his own thing.
Man, I love it. Anatole, you have Miss Ebony, and you are the leader of the house. But when she speaks, the world shaketh. What was co-parenting like for you?
Well, you kind of in the same situation I'm in. Your wife is a school teacher just like mine. And everybody knows that the teacher's always in charge. So not only do I have to, the kids have to fall in line, I have to fall in line as well. But, we have pretty distinct roles in the parenting of the kids. I'm the disciplinarian, by default, I guess. But, I think the kids are more afraid of upsetting mom than they are of upsetting me.
Oh, wow.
But, I'm the cool dad now that they're both they're both older. But when they were younger, like I said, I pretty much kept them in line. I could just give them the look, or if mom's threatened to tell me, then they would shape up.
You said something that was pretty funny to me. I call it the dad default. Like I guys, tell you a quick story. My wife, and I'm sorry, kids, I'm laying you out just a little bit. My wife has been coming to me weekly. Man, the kids aren't doing their chores, and Dad, I'm just chilling. After a few weeks, I got 2 jobs and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, baby, all you got to do is this, that, and the other, whatever. And my wife is constantly, I don't know if you had this happen, Anatole. She goes, Cleon, I need you to do something. I'm like, baby, I got this. I got you. I'm gonna do the cool daddy thing, right? But then one day, and this happened recently, and I love you kids, but I'm laying you out. Funny story. I walked in and they were giving mom the business. I saw it live and in living color. And like I said, daddy went into the baritone, he went into asshole mode. And it was a beautiful thing. Forget Barack Obama mode. Forget Bill Cosby. I went nuts. And that's what I love about the dad default, right? Can you share that same sentiment, Anatole?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, there's a few times when my kids stepped out of line, if they think I'm not around or something like that, and I just hear a comment or something like that, then all of a sudden, you got Samuel L. Jackson over here at my house, because
he said Samuel.
but
wait, so you got a Samuel Jackson voice?
Oh my God! No, I got Jackson vocabulary.
Fernando, do you get your Samuel Jackson on? What's that all about?
Indeed, sir. Indeed. I blame it on the military. Uncle Sam kind of corrupted me, but I do have a very wide, broad range and colorful use of the English language.
So guys, what I'm trying to say is, and you guys can all agree, man, we're all three different fathers, and LaTeef can attest to it. You know, maybe LaTeef's the only one that's all smiles on his. But man, every now and then, dads, it's okay. You can't be afraid to go off sometime. You know, you got it.
Man.
And that's the luck of being a dad. And I love it when the missus all look at us like, who does he think he is? I'm daddy. You know, that's what I am. So,
Oh, and sometimes moms can get evil too. Moms be getting evil too and be having them evil looks. And it's worse. Like that, like I be getting scared. Like, whoa, like hold up, like let me go ahead. I'm not no witness to nothing.
Exactly. Let me ask you something, Fernando. Listen, you are an MMA champion. Your kids are training. Do you ever think? I mean, you got some boys, some pretty tough boys. You ever wonder that one day they're gonna take dad? You know, you're off on your Samuel Jackson's head. What do you think about that? Or you have dad power, like that? You have the dad code. They can never top
Nah. Well, nah. For a long time, I always, just, hey, I'm dad. I'm King Alpha. You know what I mean? Like, you will never overthrow this government over here. But eventually, you got to come to the realization, like, damn, Father Time is undefeated. And there's a couple of times where I rode with my son. Those were earlier pictures when they were young, when they were like, 5, 6 years old or whatever. The smaller one in that picture is 20 years old now. Wow. The one to the left. He's 20 years old and he's 5'11", 270 pounds. And he's the number 7 ranked Greco wrestler in the country. And took 2 back-to-back 7th-place finishes at the Olympic qualifiers. 6-time California state champion, Jonathan Smith, great kid, great athlete. And but no, man, like you say, you know what? Hey, eventually when I get to that point, I used to always say, you won't be able to take me until I'm 65. Man, this boy is strong. He's skilled. I've been raising him up, and he's doing his thing on the jiu-jitsu circuit now as well. And he's, I'm gonna have to lower that age, limit that I put from 65 to maybe about 45. And then I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna have to shoot this fool. Like,
and speaking of other fathers in the same situation, shouts out to Ahmad Reese, shouts out to
yes.
Antonio McKee. Their kids they taught them, they're incredibly skilled. My girls got a little boxing, they do a little bing bang a little bit, so I'm a little scared of that when I turn 80, right? But not right now. Right now, I'm good.
Exactly.
I'm good. Anatole,
but it's good. You
man?
don't have to worry about when they go on their proms or whatever. You know what I mean?
Nope.
The prom dates try to come over, and then they look at you thinking they're going to be intimidated. It's like, hey, bro, you ain't got to worry about me. You need to worry about my daughter.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, Cheyenne, she got a left hook as if she didn't have a daddy. That sounds Anatole, did you ever have, your oldest say, stick his chest out at you as a dad? What's that like? Some of these fathers need to know that don't experience that. Did you ever have those little moments? James Evans moments?
You know what? There was one time, well, he never stuck his chest out. I deflated. But he raised up on his mom, and before he knew it, he was on the ground in the fetal position, and I was standing above him. Like I said, we do not play that at my house, but it's I've only had to do that one time with him, and like I said, right now he's almost 28 now, but the thing I have to say about some of these boys is they have to have that level of respect. It can also be have a certain level of fear as well, knowing that just like Fernando said, I'm the king here. I'm and there would be no mutiny today, but I think it's a healthy level of respect that they have to have. As long as they got that, I think you're good.
Guys, I've got LaTeef, who's returned, missed out on a lot, bro, but he's out there protecting and serving as a firefighter. And we also brought in world-renowned singer, recording artist, Jesse Campbell. I told him they come on in on the fly because I know he's also a good father, has an incredible story. So I want to bring Jesse in. And first of all, let me welcome back LaTeef. LaTeef, welcome back. Everything all right? No fires, no babies to save?
Nah, it was just a little minor assault
up in the tree.
Speaking of fathers, this was a son who, I guess he wanted to step up to his dad tonight, and it wasn't his time.
Never be his time. Jesse, are you on?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the family, the round table of fathers, I want to introduce you to the voice, Mr. Jesse Campbell. Jesse, how you doing, my brother?
Man, I'm doing good and honored to be on this panel with all these other fathers.
Man, Jesse's story is incredible too, man. He raised a daughter and looking beautiful, man. Thank you for representing at Building Blue Bridges this weekend. You killed it, man.
Oh man, of course.
You also have children, and you were raising kids while darn near homeless at a point. What was that about, briefly?
Well, honestly, I for me, homeless was a state of mind because I just got tired of asking and waiting for help. So it's just like, it is what it is. I got to do what I can do to the best of my ability until I can do something different. And but sleeping in a car with my 3-year-old on my chest outside of a 24-hour Vons in Santa Monica, I quickly came to my senses.
Wow.
And then went and received a little bit of assistance. But from that point on, man, I just, got to the place where I was like, I have to do what I can to give this baby girl the best upbringing of opportunities as possible. And I just began to do a little bit at a time, and just, I'm just grateful to God. I just took her to lunch this morning, because she was sad because she had to go back to school, and she started crying when she got out the car to give me a hug. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, I don't want to go back to school. And I was like, well, baby girl, you're in school to be a biomolecular, in there for biomolecular research. And this is a good problem to have. You're gonna make it. You're gonna be all right. It's just a part of the sacrifices so that you don't have to go through what daddy went through to make sure that you have food on the table.
Man.
So fortunately, going to lunch, I told her about, my theology, because we were talking about the whole Tulsa massacre and
Yes.
Where is God and all of this. So I kind of shared my POV with her, and I just let her know, I said, honestly, baby girl, you can do, be, have, go as your heart desires. A lot of those people, our ancestors, they paved the way by making sacrifices, and we owe it to them and ourselves to make the best out of what we have, because they had to go through things that we don't. So that's kind of, the deal. And man, I'm just glad to be on this panel with these fathers.
Oh, it's amazing. Hey, LaTeef, we were talking about disciplinary styles. I want to talk about that, but man, I also want to talk about fatherhood in difficult times. And man, you killed it on that show to a point where a couple of people called me directly. How'd you get my cell phone number? I'm like, dang, man, tell us about your disciplinary style. And we all got daddy styles. Tell us about that. And then tell us about fathering through difficult times.
I think disciplinary style, we all tend to favor what and how we were raised. But we remember the good and the bad times from that.
Yeah.
And remember I'd never do that. And, kind of like the anguish and almost just the mental impact and sometimes scarring that put. And I think you have to realize and come into your own and saying, well, now I'm a father, I'm a man. So therefore, this is my child. I can do what I want to do and kind of right the mistakes that say my father, my mother, whoever raised me. So for me now, of course, I was raised, getting whoopings as a kid. And, because that's what my father knew. Now it seems I tend to more so, I can tell definitely my son has a healthy fear of me, same as I still fear my father to this day. I mean, I weigh him about 50 pounds and, look down at the top of his head, but
yeah,
he can still tell me to go take out the trash, and I go take out the trash.
It's funny you said that. It's funny you said that, LaTeef. My brother and I, Dion, we were watching the Super Bowl one day. I forgot which Super Bowl. And my nephew, Xavier, God bless him, we play fight all the time. He walked up and just straight cold cocked me in the face. And he was just playing, but I'm like, damn, dude, so I kind of, so I kind of grabbed, and Dion was like, oh, he was a little upset. I was upset. And I was like, wait. So we were about to argue, and my dad was sitting right in the middle of us. And dad literally said, knock it off. And we both, two buff grown men, sat back in our chairs and looked at the TV. Is that kind of fair assessment, the power of dad, LaTeef?
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that healthy fear, because like My son, as you see online, he's very, very rambunctious, very explorative. I raised him to respect danger, but fear is an option that doesn't help.
Wow.
So, but I need that command presence and that obedience of him, where if I see we're in Florida, I see he's about to walk up on a water moccasin, he may think it's a black snake and want to pick it up. I should be able to be across the street and say, stop, don't move. And there's no question. There is no, delay or anything like that. He will stop. He will freeze. That is it. Same thing in the inner city. Your child might be running across the street to come to you. You should be able to tell them to stop, don't move right then and there.
Okay, man.
As well as in today's times where back in the day, you can get whooped at the supermarket. Nowadays, you yell at your child. You have 3 or 4 people. Don't yell at your child like that. That child, blah, 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 blah.
Please, drives me nuts.
And yes, that is your child, but other people's perception is our reality. And
Right.
everybody's reality today. That the cancel culture that we live in, that's how it is. So that has to come to mind, and has to come into how you discipline your child publicly and in your home, because once somebody feels that what you shouldn't do and they report it, then it has to be investigated. It has to be a paper trail to it.
Wow.
So now I'm more so, we're into push-ups and wall squats. And to me, that is just as effective,
It is.
as well as making sure that I don't tower over him. I get down to his level and talk to him. That is very effective. And really connecting to him, even like emotionally, not just have that physical fear, as far as discipline and, enforcing rules and things like that.
Man, so working our way backwards, let's talk about balancing career and family. Now, Anatole, I'll start with you because, you're retired now. You can bug your kids to death. How does that balance work for you? And then I'm going to let Fernando address it.
No, unfortunately, I'm not retired. I need to be. I'm looking forward to it. I go out and fight and deal with body shops and dealerships and other businesses, 5 days a week, as an auto damage adjuster for an insurance company that I work for.
That's right.
But as far as, work with them, like I said, my son is 28. My daughter will be 19 in about 11 more days.
Do you think you're
or
done?
10 more days. But what's that?
Do you think you're finished, or you think it just started? Got him stuck.
Oh, I'm like, what finished? What started? I'm looking forward to being retired. But as far as the discipline stuff goes, like I said, I'm just all turned around. You got me all turned around right now, CJ.
I hear you, man.
You got me with. I'm not there yet. Looking forward to it though.
Okay, Fernando, you're a champ. You are acting. I see you all over the place. I was trying to pull up the video when you were doing your little martial arts scenario. I mean, and you're spending time with your kids, and you have a newborn. What is the balance like?
You just got to be like Nike. Just do it. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes that, the balance doesn't necessarily work out, to be favorable to you and what you want to do and what you got going on. But you just got to, conform, reconfigure, and maneuver around whatever obstacles. You just got to adapt, you know what I mean? But all in all, I love spending time, with my kids. I love spending time with my family and, being home and, and then at the same time, got to go ahead and do what I need to do in order to keep, revenue coming in and bills paid and everybody's happy and healthy and the whole nine,
That, man, I'm going to ask you another question. Do you ever feel like, do all of you, and Jesse, I'll start with you, same question, but do you ever feel like you're not there enough? I remember one time I was a bouncer, I was a bodyguard, a trainer, and an officer. I had 4 jobs, man, and I was flying all over the place, and I walked home one day and my kids hugged me like I just wasn't there, and I felt guilty. But in the back of my mind is I'm providing. Jesse, do you have those concerns? Because you travel the world, and I know your daughters love you to death. Talk about it. Can you hear me, Jesse? Is he on?
My phone muted by mistake.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I missed the question though. You said
Oh,
the same question, but what's the question
oh,
again?
the question was, we were talking about, there's a part in my career when I was a bodyguard, a bouncer, a police
Right, I heard
officer,
that.
and I there was a point where I felt guilty for not, I think, being there enough, but I knew I was providing. You travel the
Oh, yeah.
world singing, Russia, Germany. You travel the world. Do you ever get that way, or you say, no, I'm providing? How do you feel about that?
Oh no. I had the guilt thing for quite some time, and that was a big problem, which I actually just spoke to my daughter about maybe 2 months ago, because I overcompensated for it, and I apologized for spoiling her because I took her to Dubai, and I went there to perform for a billionaire where everything was paid for, and she was in business class on Emirates Airline. Now I had never been on that, but I took her because he invited her. And when we got there, she expected to be in her own room on a separate floor. I'm like, wait, hold on. No, let me get you. So I had to get her straight. You know what I'm saying? So, and she was really taken aback by that. And she had attitude, so I almost had to snatch her up in the mall. And I had to let her know, if it wasn't against the law to get upset, you would know how upset I am. Woo. But the fact of the matter is, I said, you need to count your blessings. I made a mistake because I overcompensated trying to be everything that your mother wasn't. I said, but I need you to understand that I see your resentment in me because I'm not your mother. I said, but you got to understand, Daddy did his best. So please don't get it twisted, because you don't want to get me upset, because I want you to understand that, how men think and how they act, but don't disrespect Daddy. So it was one of those things. So I overdid it, and it took her being 20 years old for her to really get it, and she's still readjusting. But after I had that conversation with her, then things have been so much easier between us, because she do understand that I spoiled her as a result of my dad spoiling me. And it's that same pass it down effect that my father had on my brothers and that my granddad had on my father.
Wow.
So yeah,
you know what? It's funny. We're man. I have so many more questions, but we're almost done. What I want to do is I'll start with Anatole. Can you give just a 30-second affirmation for young fathers or old fathers, or fathers that had not reached out to their children, as to what it's like to being a father? I believe we've kind of sketched that out. We need another hour, right? But we've done a good job. Give me about 30 seconds to inspire. Go for it, sir.
I would say to these brothers that you really would make a tremendous difference and impact in your child's life. He likes to, they need your presence. If you can't give them your presence, depending on the circumstances, be there for them, be there to listen to them, be there to speak to them, be there to impart wisdom into them, help them to navigate through, some of life's obstacles that they're going to face. Give them the benefit of your experience, and make yourself available to them. That's one of the most important. You're available. If they can speak to you, they can, they can listen to you, they can learn from you.
Yeah, that's good.
Give it back.
Fernando, give them some words of inspiration, but also I know you're acting, you're doing a lot of big things. If you got something you want to shout that out too. Give me 30 seconds. Give it to them hard, sir. Inspire.
Man, just love on your kids, love on your family. There's no greater gift, no greater blessing from God than the gift of being a patriarch and being a father. And that's the key word, patriarch. And that's something that, we've lacked, in our families, in our households, in our upbringings, in our communities for so long. And we got to get back to that, back to, the patriarchs and the matriarchs of the family, of the community, and just be there and be a man of your word. And, I'm far from perfect. Like, I'm fallible and flawed like a mother sucker, but nonetheless, I'm genuine and authentic, and I'm always going to be genuine and authentic, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, no matter. But, I'm, cut from the type of cloth that, if I say something, I'm going to follow through on that. And just the simple fact that, you're a father, you're duty bound spiritually, intrinsically, you know what I mean? Yo, just be there and take care of your kids. You know what I mean? Like it's a beautiful and amazing and it's a rewarding experience just to be able to see, whatever successes and, achievements that my kids, have ascertained and could potentially ascertain and, basically, surpass any and everything that I've ever done or accomplished or desired of, you know what I mean? And that's how it's
Wow.
supposed to be. You know what I mean? As you get older, you take care of your kids, you handle your business, you leave like a nest egg, like some sort of inheritance, and you ignite that flame, that fire, that passion, that desire, beneath your kids to succeed. And I truly believe in that's the doctrine that I preach and what I instill in my kids, that you can be any and everything that you put your mind to.
Man, that is awesome. Hey, how did they get a hold of you on your what's your IG handle?
IG handle is at team_PBA. And also my website, www.thefernandomarrero.com. And I'm on Twitter at Team PBA Forever. I'm on Facebook, just, I'm IMDb, just, imdb.me/Fernando Marrero. Just go on the Google search engines, Fernando Marrero, IMDb, MMA, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, acting, whatever. You know what I mean?
You the man. You the man. We got you. We'll put it up on the show link also. Real quick, LaTeef, quickly, because we're a little over. The catch was trying to scratch me. LaTeef, inspire real quick.
Fatherhood is not for you. It's for your children.
Amen.
Being head of the family isn't for you. It is for your family. You go out and hunt and bring it home, but you don't eat first. You eat what is left after you give to your family. In everything. You get what's left because you're to provide for them. Be first. You are your son's first hero and your daughter's first love. So you are to set that standard. We are on a high pedestal on one foot, balancing, and you are held at a higher standard. And if you fall off that pedestal, it is a hard climb to get back up there to where your children see you. But they already see you there. All you got to do is maintain it.
Awesome.
And it would seem hard, but it's not, because even if you didn't have a father, even if you didn't have a good example, then you give your children what you weren't given. Man. You correct the mistakes that you know that were made. Awesome. Your father may not have done everything right, but he showed you how not to do it. So man. Whether he was there or whether he wasn't there, you need to be there.
You're killing it. Jesse, close it out, bro. You got like 30 seconds and we're done. What does it mean to be the father? Inspire, my brother.
To be the example, to be that God image for your children. But you guys have said it all, man. My thing is just to literally be present with her and just let her know that I'm here for you and I'm here with you. And that's pretty much the deal. Do your best.
Jesse, how did they get a hold of you, my brother? Mr. Jesse?
Jesse JESSE CampbellLikeSoup.com.
All right, man. This guy's got the baddest voice on the planet. Guys, I don't have to say anything. I told you I brought the backup. I don't need to say nothing. All I need to say is this is mentorship moment. This is the village. Each one teach one. Come on now. This is the show. Let's go. I'm about to be a father.
I tried to be secular about this book, but I can't. Something's working within me.
EJ was already an incredible person, and then he wrote a book.
I turned to God as a person that stopped believing. So you will meet me there, and if not, you will see the works that help me get there.
If you want to know how to change and learn how to change from the inside out, you read this book.
Money is a real thing. It's a part of it. But what I show in the book, and I'm telling my young people out there, I'm walking you through business. This is a real business lecture 101. It's not the green that's going to keep you sustained. It's your influence. How well do you impart influence and love in people? How do I make you rich by a conversation we've had?
It's going to help you no matter what situation, no matter what trials or tribulations you're going through. It's going to give you that ammo that you need.
Watch God grow inside of me. Watch him show me why this went wrong to get to right. To him to say, you know what, God? I needed the tragedy too. I needed to feel loss. I needed to feel grief. I needed to feel let down.
And thank God you've got me where I'm at in my marriage, with my kids, with my family, so I can see the blessings and I can tell somebody else how all those things I went through in the past got me where I'm in today.
You can get through anything if you just keep the faith and walk through that valley and don't give up. Don't turn back, don't look back, just keep looking forward, and the goal is right there. You just have to keep pushing for it.
Keep your brains in your head, keep your heart in your chest, and keep your pee-pee in your pants. And that's it.
That's great advice.
This will stay in your hearts for the rest of your life, and it will conquer the demons that lie in your mind.